Hi guys, how you doing? This is Kingsley. Today we'll be talking about data types. Data types. Now, I told you something about in a previous tutorial we discussed about variables, and today we are going to be discussing about data types that can be stored in different in variables. Okay, variable can store data of different types, and different data types can do different things. Now I'm going to show you examples of data types that we have in PHP. The first one um, is string, and we're going to take time to explain them. Integer, float, which can also be called double, and we also have boolean, array, object, null, and resource. Okay, how many are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now we are going to be discussing, for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to be discussing only 1 2 3 4 5 of them. We won't discuss these three. Okay, now first of all, we let's talk about string. A string is a series of characters, like hello world. I already told you string are made up of words or sentences, combination of what, maybe like hello world or I'm coming to see you today, tomorrow. Words are strings. Okay, now a string can be any text inside the quotes, inside quotes, or quotation mark, quotation sign, like I told you initially. Inside that quotation, the quotation can be a single quotation or double quotes. Okay, for example, let's let's check this string out. Now let's say echo. Sorry, when we were talking about echo and prints, I forgot to mention another ways, and you can write display information. You can write echoes. Now, for example, when when you're trying to display information, the one I told you was hello world. Okay, now there's another way you can do this. You can put it inside a bracket. It's still gonna work the same, be it print or echo. You seen that? Sorry about that, I forgot to tell you that. It's okay. I hope you guys have forgiven me. I'm sorry, this is my first series of tutorials I've been recording. I'm trying to record on YouTube. Now I'm not gonna be perfect, but if you can follow me along, I'll try to make it up to you. Okay. Alright, now even if you see use prints, it's still gonna give the same output. Okay, we were talking about strings. Now string is a text series of text that is sorry, sequence of text or characters that is between quotes. Do you understand? So now that is inside a quote. The quote might be single or double. Single or double, it's still gonna work the same. Single or double, it's still gonna work the same. As you can see, if it was invalid, now it would have shown you an error. Okay, now as a string, now for example, if you have um, um, text 1 is equal to hello world, hello world, and sorry, text 2. Hello world. Let's echo, sorry, echo text 1, sorry, text 2. Okay, seen that. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to concatenate. Wow. Okay, let's break it. Line break. And push this one down. Echo. Sorry. Okay, now let's see what's gonna happen. Sorry. Mm, wow. Okay. Well, most times it happens like that. We try to do work things out in a trial and error way. Okay. The line didn't break. Wow. Okay, don't worry. We're still gonna work on that. Okay. Let's do it this way and see. Yeah. Okay, I believe this is gonna work out. Wow, it worked out. Okay, right now it displayed the string hello world, string hello world. As you can see, we have a double line quote, a double quote, and a single quote here. Okay, now let's say text 3 is equal to, put it inside the bracket, hello world. Okay, so let's break this and change this to 3. You see it's still gonna display the same. Okay, now that we know what string is all about, let's go to integer. An integer is a whole number without decimal. A whole number without decimal. It's a number between wow, number is slash. Let's see, 2 minus 2 million. Okay, that's, I think you're gonna interpret this. I believe it's gonna be million. Okay, minus 2 147 43 483 6 4 8. I got this somewhere anyway. So when you're trying to when you're trying to research on theory aspect of PHP, you're gonna see this to positive minus 2 million for one something 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 to plus this. Whether I add plus or not is still gonna mean the same thing. This is minus and that this is positive. This is a negative um, integer, and these are positive. This is a positive integer. Okay, an integer is a whole number. It doesn't. There is no decimal in it. And a whole number is without decimal, as you know already. An integer must have at least one digit, which is from 0 to 9. And an integer cannot contain comma or blanks. An integer cannot contain comma or blanks. Now if you're trying to write integer, you don't have to add comma to it. But this one I'm just trying to tell you the number, what the that I was just trying to explain that it is a number between minus 2 million to this. Now, so when you're trying to write an integer, okay, for example, let's try to write an integer here. Let's try to output an integer and see if it's gonna accept comma. So as I'm trying to say, now let's say echo 1. It's gonna display 1. Okay, let's echo, let's see. I'll be surprised if it displays. It displays as 13. Okay, now that means this one is invalid now. Okay, the comma is invalid. Now it's not working. Okay, now an integer cannot contain comma or blank. An integer must not have a decimal point. An integer can be either positive or negative, like what I told you. I showed you with those 2 million and stuff. And integer can be specified in 3 format: decimal, base, blah 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 stuff. What we'll be working on integers. Integers are just whole numbers. Whole numbers. Whole numbers. Any whole number is integer. Now if for example if we have x is equal to 1, echo x, sorry, it's a variable. Okay, 1. If we now change this to 2, that's the same thing that's going to happen. Okay, 3. If we have 100, in as much as there is no comma in it, it's going to still display. So if we now add comma, it's still going to display as a whole number as we previously seen. Okay, wow. Okay, let me remove this. Oh, wow, syntax error. Wow. Okay, that means it only accepts syntax error. Okay, you know why this is happening? It's because we are trying to store this data inside the variable. That means the variable cannot accept it. But let's try to echo this and see what's gonna happen, like we previously saw. What happened? Okay, sorry, echo this. Okay, you saw that, you've seen that. Okay, let's do that under stuff. Okay, so if we try to make it a variable, um, if we try to store it in a variable x, is equal to, now you see it cannot be saved there. Now pass error, that's the parsing engine cannot pass that data because it's of no data type. Okay, like I told you initially when I started this tutorial, I told you variables can I told you variable can only store data, can store data of different types, and different data types can do different things. Now as you can see now, 1 comma 1 sorry 1 comma 0 1 comma 0, there is not a data type, is not any data type, so it cannot be stored in a variable. Okay, now as you can see, now let's try to display this information. Let's do this now. 100, there is what we use to return the data type and value. It's called var dump x okay, let's try to see. Now you see the data type has been returned with the value integer. Okay, now let's it's not the data type, so as you can see it cannot be passed. Okay, now let's do this. Let's try to make this a string. I love PHP. I love PHP. Now let's view this in the browser and see what's gonna happen. String, you see the data type is string with a value of 10. This 10 might be, let's say, counting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now let's go to float or double. Float or double are numbers that has decimal sign in it. They are not all numbers. 0 1.1 var x you've seen that float. So if we have 0.1, it's also a float. Okay, now right now you can see the different types of data types we have in PHP, which is string, integer, and float. Now let's talk about boolean. Boolean is just true or false. Okay, now let's say true. Let's see this. True is a boolean. Okay, the same thing is false. Now we're going to really deal with true or false when we are doing if statement. When we move to condition statement, when we are doing tutorials on condition statement, we'll see much of true and or false, the boolean data type. Yeah, and a boolean are often used in conditional testing. Like I told you, you will learn more about conditional testing as we proceed in the tutorial in the series. Okay, the next one we're going to be talking about is array. Array is written like this. Array. Okay, let's have an example of array and see what's gonna happen. Now if we have cars as a variable, cars is equal to array. sorry, and which is Volvo, sorry, comma, and um, let's say Peugeot, sorry, is that not correct? BMW and Honda. Okay, okay, now let's try to return the value and the data type of this, of the array. Let's okay, you've seen that we have three values here. We have three values there. We have Volvo, BMW and Honda. Okay, now Volvo is the first one, BMW is the second one, and Honda is the third. Okay, we have three values in the array. The first one, which is 0, the first one, in programming we start counting from 0 and not 1. The first one, which is 0, Volvo, it has 5 letters. Then 1, BMW, it has 3 letters. Then 2, Honda, has 5 letters. All of them are string data types. Okay, now even I'll change them to like 2, 3, 4. Now we are gonna remove the quotes. I'm gonna remove the quotes. Let's just write the numbers. Numbers. Okay, now let's try to view it in the browser. Okay, as you can see, starting from 0 we have 1, 2, we have 3, and sorry, 0 we have 1, 1 we have 3, and 2 we have 4, and that's what we wrote down, we keyed in there. Okay, now that's array data type. And yeah, I believe you will have a tutorial, a series or a video tutorial where we will be discussing array in a video tutorial. We'll be discussing array broadly. Okay, and like I told you, those were the data types we are gonna discuss as far as this tutorial is concerned: the string, and integer, float, boolean, and arrays. Okay, please, if you like our video, if you like my video, you subscribe and always like my video by clicking on like. And if you have any question, or you comment, and I always get back to you. Okay, now I'm sorry about the way I break sometimes. It's like I told you earlier, these are my first series of video tutorials on programming, so I believe I'll do better than this as time goes on. Okay, thank you very much for watching this. See you in the next tutorials.